Billy, you there? And as this queues up, it should get a note when it's ready.
Okay.
All right, so we're live here in Columbia, South Carolina with, I'm Andrew Lucas, and this is through REI Live Columbia. So REI Live, if you don't know what it is our space as real estate investors to get together, to learn from each other, network, and also to hopefully get some deals done. So that's what we are, and so we're trying to bring some information to you guys out there while we are all separated. So today we have Billy Canty with the Canty Company, and we really want to focus on property management, rental, landlords, how's that going, and amidst this coronavirus. And there was a lot of scare or a lot of fear coming up to April 1st. So we'll get into that. So Billy, can you just kind of tell us who you are and what you do?
Sure, yeah. Hey, I'm Billy Canty. I'm the president of Canty and Company. We do residential property management. It's almost all residential. We do a little bit of commercial, but which we can touch on. I've got a little information on that, but mostly residential property management. So,
Perfect. Yep. So that's what's been on everyone's mind here for us, for our business. That's kind of our base salary, if you will. I mean, that's what pays our bills, and that's the rental properties. And there's a lot of them. And a lot of other investors who this is their passive income or a side business, but they have mortgages attached to property. And so rent collections for April 1st was very much on top of everyone's mind. It was in the newspaper, on the news. So I'm going to lead off with that. Billy, how was rent collection for April 1?
Yeah, actually, surprisingly, it was good. We are pretty close to where we were for February, March. So the people that are typically pay late are still paying late. We have worked out deals with a handful of tenants, but not near as many as I thought we would, on letting them pay. They paid half the rent on time, and then we let them pay the other half the rent by, let's say, the 20th, I think, or 22nd, with no late fee on it. So, we're hopefully we do have tenants doing that, and it's in the teens, 20, maybe, out of maybe 1,000 tenants, we've got just a handful paying, in portions on it. But the majority of tenants paid on time, which was surprising. This really, all of our March rent for the most part was in when this kind of hit. So, April, coming around was a little scary. So now I'm getting worried about May.
Yeah, that's right. Now we got to talk May, but
right. But yeah, it was. I've run management fees. They're pretty similar to what they were last month on it, which tells me what the rent collected was pretty similar to what it was. So a lot of people were able to pay on it. So
that's very positive news amidst a lot of fear and not great news. But that's good news on multiple fronts. Now, it's of course. It's easy to say it's good for landlords, they're going to get paid, but you know what? That's really also good. If you think of the base, where that comes from, that's our community, that's Columbia, that's people's jobs. If there's not that many, now there's probably more, we'll see what happens in May, but the fear was that half of our economy was going to wiped out, everyone's going to lose their job. At least in this small sample size, there seems to be people still have jobs. They still had income coming into April and able to pay their rent. That's a positive sign, and looking bigger picture that says when we're able to go back to work, things can get started a little sooner if we get back to work. So that's a big thing. And of course, we'll be talking about it coming up to May as well. But Billy, did you guys do anything proactive? Did you reach out to tenants ahead of time, students maybe, or people you knew worked in hospitality or anything like that?
Yeah, we don't, it's hard. The tenants are entered in, so it's, unless we know what they do, it's hard. We can't divide out hospitality tenants versus other tenants. But yeah, we did send a letter. We sent 2 letters out in about the middle of May or middle of March when this started, and then towards the end of March, letting tenants know. I mean, we've changed where are short staffed now. I've got we usually have about 7 or 8 people working. We've got 2 in the office, and the rest of them work from home, which has been, I think a lot of people are doing that, but it's been good with our the software we use. We're able to work from home. Everybody's got a computer and a printer, and they're able to do pretty much. There's things they have to come in the office to do, but pretty much been able to work from home, which has helped. But yeah, we sent letters out to the tenants, just letting them know what we were doing. So the office is closed. We're not letting anybody in, which has changed a lot of, rent collections a little bit different. Doing leases is a little bit different now. Normally we have people come in and sign leases. Now we're doing them either online or printing them out and giving them to them and letting them fill it out outside the office and bring it back. And then we go through it on the phone with them as opposed to bringing them in the office to sign them. So things like that have changed a little bit. But and probably for a positive, it's something we'll probably, I'm sure, continue to use on it.
I was going to make that point is that, and I know that because you manage some of our properties, that you did get a new software system a year ago somewhere. It's been fairly recent, right, and much more online focused. And this is forcing you guys to stretch that muscle of how do we get more efficient? How do we lease and deal with tenants and collect rent and talk with landlords? How do we do that without being face to face? And so you're stretching that muscle, which will be better for your efficiency in your business, I'm sure. But the tenants are changing. The tenants don't necessarily want to see you guys. They might like you and all, but they don't care to see you. They like to pay online and go about their business. So I'll say one thing, that we do have comments, guys. We're live on Facebook, so if you have any comments or questions, just type them in. And Chad Payton says hi, Billy, and so did Matt Hip. And so we've got just a couple of comments in there. So so going forward, how are the vacant properties getting leased? Have you seen a downturn in that? Is it harder to lease, or less people looking, or have your applications gone down, gone up? What does that look like?
Yeah, so right now, usually March is when we're starting to pick up into April, and so now we're usually getting pretty busy to start. We did start renting properties back in February for the summertime rentals, so we were able to rent a handful, a good number, go ahead and already get leases signed and get deposits in. But now we're not showing any properties, which typically we would meet tenants and show them the properties. So now we're checking out keys. So tenants come in with an ID and $20, they get a key, go look at it. So we're only showing vacant properties. That's been the biggest change, is we're not able to show occupied units right now. We're looking at ways to do that. Hopefully next month, if they relax some of the restrictions, either doing FaceTime showings or virtual showings, we have to figure something out with that on it. But that's the showing is the biggest, renting is the biggest change right now. We really can't get occupied units. It's harder to rent them right now on it. But we have been getting applications in. We're getting things rented. People are still moving around. So not as much as we would normally in April, but we're still. I think we've got maybe 5 or 6 people moved in this week.
Oh wow!
So, which is a little bit less than normal, but still it didn't completely dry up, which is nice on it.
Right. So it's still moving, a little slower, a little different, but we're still moving. So that's good to know. Good to know that it's a little bit different. You've got and landlords out there. And so, Billy, so we're talking to people in this group. Some people have 1 or 2 rentals that rent for themselves, and others have 50, 100, 200 that have property managers or even other property managers listening to this. So, just to give a tip, if you have a vacant unit right now, go get really good pictures, full walkthrough, get a live video walkthrough, because this is happening now, but this again stretches that muscle that says, what will happen next time? How can I rent this again efficiently next time? And if you have a live walkthrough video, similar to what you see for a new home listing, if you have that, then the next time you want to rent this property, you can send that and you can rent it while it's vacant. While it's occupied. So go ahead, and if you have something vacant, get some good high quality video and pictures to be prepared for the next time you rent it.
Right. Yeah, we're doing that now, is trying to upgrade the pictures of our properties, because some of them could be 10 years old on a property. So yeah, that's a great suggestion. It definitely helps. Hopefully we won't have to deal with this kind of thing again, but it is good to get everything up to date on it.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So just a suggestion from you, Billy, like what if you've got some landlords out there, somebody is missing a payment and would be going into into eviction at this point. Have you guys come up with a game plan? Then if it's they lost their job, we know that there's issues with that, but I'm thinking if there was a troubled tenant who now is past due and would normally be evicted, but you can't do that. Do you guys have a game plan? Have you put a policy in, or is there something that we should be trying to do at this point so that we can come out of this with the right with the next step?
Right. Really, if anybody has some good suggestions on that, the courts will open back up May 1st, from what we understand on it. I have had the majority of our good tenants, and typical of good tenants, called us the end of March, 1st or 2nd of April, and said, I've lost my job, here's my situation. And those are the people we work with. So far, all of them that I've seen have paid half their rent or whatever we worked out with them. And then we should get the rest of it later this month. The tenants that didn't pay March rent haven't paid April rent. They know they're not going to get evicted. So we're in contact with them. We text them and email them and tell them that that they need to pay, because we will file as soon as we can. I foresee a big backlog in the court. If we file on May 1st, whenever we're allowed to, it's going to be weeks before we get a court date. And I'm worried it might even be into June before we get a court date on it. So, but the courts are aware of this. The Chief Justice in South Carolina originally stayed the evictions and then sent a letter out saying to the public, and it was in the paper, this doesn't mean you don't have to pay your rent or your mortgage. So, that you will be evicted when we open the courts back up. So, that they're I guess planning for an onslaught. So and the judges don't want to be behind. They get a backlog anyway. So they know this is putting them behind. So we'll have to see what happens. But there's nothing. We haven't. We're telling tenants we're going to file on them. We're not harassing them about it right now. They are getting texts and emails, but that's the ones that game the system already, they know on it. So
if they're gaming the system, we're going to game it anyway. So you just have to wait it out. So I appreciate your time, Billy. We will cut this off if there's anything you want to share with the crowd, with the bunch. And I know that you guys are working super hard and staying busy, so I appreciate that, especially on our properties, but also for everyone else, in the community. So is there anything else you want to add, or?
The only thing that I've had several tenants come in saying, just tell the owner they don't have to pay their mortgage. They can talk to the bank. So there is that misconception that the owners can get free mortgage payments while during this time, which they don't. So we've tried to explain to them that these are deferred payments, not free payments. So they still have to pay their mortgage. They just, if they want to go that route. But there seems to be an idea from tenants that if they don't pay their rent, the owner doesn't have to pay their mortgage. So, you want to educate the public.
Yeah, it doesn't quite work that way. And especially with, if you have commercial, mortgages on those. So that they're not going to give you any leeway with that. So
Right.
Rent needs to be paid. But yeah, so Billy, I really appreciate it. And Billy Canty, and I'll put a link in the comments to you guys' website if anybody has any questions. I think your email is on there, but
should be, yeah.
Yeah, if not, you can find it through there. So, all right, Billy, I really appreciate it. And hey, happy Easter. It is Good Friday. So
and happy birthday.
Yeah, thank you. All right, I'll talk to you later.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks. Bye.